Okay, welcome back. In module 2 of MLOps from scratch, we are jumping into the practical setup. Okay, by the end of this module, you'll have your development environment ready and configured to start building real MLOps pipelines. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's talk about the tool set. Okay, every engineer needs these tools. Okay, so now we're gonna be using Python in this course. Python is our core programming language for ML workflows. We're going to be using VS Code. VS Code is our main development environment, and we're going to be using it throughout the course. We're going to be using Git and GitHub for version control. We're going to be using DVC, data version control, to manage your data set. Not only that, but to version your models. We're going to be using MLflow to log experiments and metrics for your models. We're going to be using Flask to build lightweight machine learning APIs. So Flask is going to essentially enable you to serve your model as an API. We're going to be using Docker to containerize and deploy your models to various environments. And lastly, which is on an optional note, you can use Jupyter Notebooks. You can use Google Collaboratory for quick testing and experiments. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, let's deal with configuration overview now. In this phase, we'll set up Git and create a project repository. We're going to create a Python virtual environment. We're going to install essential packages for this stage, which would include libraries like pandas, scikit-learn, etc. I'm going to take you through them all. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, we're going to organize the base project folder. Lastly, I need you to get ready to use tools like DVC and MLflow, but these will only be introduced in later modules. Okay, all right, let's jump right into this. Okay, be ready, man. Don't be worried, don't be afraid. We got this. Okay, let's set up your environment step by step. We're gonna install Python, we're gonna install VS Code, we're going to create a project folder. We're going to set up a virtual environment for this, for your project. We're going to install the first set of tools and packages necessary to get you up and running. Okay, and lastly, finally, you will open your project in VS Code and get ready to build. Okay, let's go. We're going to start by installing Python. Go to python.org. Okay, we're going to download Python. Give it a second. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's install it now. Okay, so a couple of things I want you to take note of. Okay, so there's two checkboxes here. So the first is use admin privilege was installing py.exe, add python.exe to path. So the one that we're going to use is this one. So tick this one because this will make Python available throughout your system. Okay, hit install now. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now let's move on to the next tool set. We're going to install VS Code, which was our IDE we're going to be using throughout the course. So open up a new tab, go to code.visualstudio, visualstudio.com, hit enter. Okay, download for Windows. Okay, so it's going to download automatically. Wait for it. Okay. Okay, here we go. So VS Code is downloaded now. Let's install it. Here we go. Accept. Okay, here we go. Okay, so hit finish. Now VS Code will launch automatically. Okay, here we go. We'll come back to this in a second. Okay, let's install Git to manage our code repositories. Okay, so open up your browser once again. Open the next tab. Let's go to Git. Gitscm.com and hit download. We're gonna download the latest version of Git. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So Git has been successfully downloaded. Let's go right ahead and install it now. Okay. Okay, here we go. So it's installing now. Just hit next until the end whereby it says install. Then it will install it for you automatically. Okay. Okay, let's launch it. So another thing that I wanted to let you know is that Git comes with a shell That shell, you can run Linux commands on it. What we're gonna do, the next thing is we're gonna create our virtual environment. This virtual environment is, we're gonna use it to manage our MLOps pipelines. Okay, so let's go right ahead and set that up. Okay, so open up your VS Code, go to terminal, new terminal. So what you'll notice is that VS Code, when you open the terminal, so it presents with a couple of options for which shell to use. You see here it's got PowerShell. When you do it, when you click this drop down here, you will see there's a list of shells you can use. Git Bash, which we just installed, PowerShell, Windows command prompt. Okay, so we're going to be using PowerShell. So what I want to do is I want to create our project folder. So let's go right ahead and do that. Okay, so ls basically what it does, it lists the current files and folders in your directory. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create our project folder on the desktop. Okay, so I'm going to use a command called cd. Cd means change directory. Just type the shift D and then E and then hit tab, so it will complete. So we want desktop, so you just got to hit enter. So now we are on the desktop. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder called projects. Okay, we're going to use a command called command to create a new folder. So it's called mkdir, meaning make a new directory. We're going to give it a name, projects. Okay, hit enter. So what I want to do is I want to cd into this projects folder. So cd projects, hit tab, and then we are there. Okay, so ls, we know the folder is empty. So in here I like to create our project folder. Okay, so mkdir MLOps course, hit enter. So in here in this folder I want us to create our MLOps Python virtual environment, where we are going to install all the necessary libraries we're going to need to develop our MLOps pipelines. Okay, here we go. So cd into this folder, MLOps, tab, and then here we are. So this is the command we're gonna use to create a new MLOps Python virtual environment. So say Python VNV, meaning virtual environment. So I like to give my virtual environment a name that is attached to the project. So we're gonna say MLOps underscore env. So when we hit enter, this will create our MLOps Python virtual environment. Okay, so just say ls, let's go into it. Here we go. So when we list, you'll notice that these are the folders that have been created and the scripts within them for us to activate our virtual environment. So we're going to go into the scripts folder to activate our virtual environment, our MLOps virtual environment. So let's do that. So shift S, C, scripts. So what I want to do is inside scripts, there's a script called activate. So that script is to activate our virtual environment. So say act, then hit tab, so activate. So hit enter. So you notice here on the left, our MLOps virtual environment has been activated now. So now that we have this activated, I'm gonna just go one directory below, ls. So in here, so what we're gonna do is we are going to now install the libraries that we're gonna be using throughout the course. Okay, initially in this module, but in the next module we're gonna be learning how to use them. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is when we installed Python, it comes with a package management system called pip. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this package management system to install the libraries we're gonna need throughout the course. Okay, so the first library we're gonna install, you type pip install. We're gonna install NumPy. So I'm gonna explain in more detail later on when we begin to use this library. So hit enter. So what this will do will install NumPy. Okay, now that NumPy is installed, you can press the arrow up on the keyboard. It will take you to the last command that you've typed. So we're going to install the next library that we're going to be using throughout the course. We're going to install pandas. Okay, it's called pandas. So hit enter. So this will download and install pandas. Okay, once it's done installing, we're going to install the next library. Another thing what you can do also is you can actually put you can list all the libraries with one command and it will install all of them, but I'm doing them one at a time so you can see. Okay, so hit the arrow again, up arrow on the keyboard. We're gonna install matplotlib. Matplot. Don't worry about this now. Don't worry about these libraries for now. You're gonna know about them when we begin to use them, so that you can understand why we actually need them at the moment. Okay, so hit enter. So this will install matplotlib. Okay, once it's done, we're gonna install scikit-learn, which is another library that we're gonna be using throughout the course. Okay, so hit the up arrow on the keyboard. We're gonna install scikit-learn. So scikit-learn, hit enter. Okay, so now it's downloading and installing scikit-learn. So once we're done with that, then we'll have the initial packages and or libraries that we're going to be using throughout the course. Other packages and libraries, we're going to introduce them later in the course. Okay, so now that we have that, what we want to do is we're going to create a requirements.txt file. So that requirements.txt file, it will bundle all the libraries that we've installed. So another thing that to note also is that the libraries that we've installed, they also have dependencies attached to them. So you'll notice that in the requirements.txt file, there'll be more libraries than we have installed, because the libraries we've installed, they've got more dependencies attached to them. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna type pip freeze to basically generate a requirements.txt file. This requirements.txt file, you'll be able to use it on any machine. Basically, you can set up the same environment that we're setting up now on any machine, basically. Okay, let's go. Okay, requirements.txt, hit enter. So what has happened now, it has generated a requirements.txt file with all the libraries and the additional dependencies attached to them. So let's do ls. You see there's a requirements.txt file. So here's what we're going to do now. So what we've done is we've created our project folder, which is MLOps course. Not only that, but we've also created an our MLOps a virtual environment that we're going to be using throughout the course. So what I want to do is I'm going to basically go to file. We're going to open a folder that we just created on the desktop under projects. So go there and just open it up. So what it will do, it will create a new workspace. Okay, so if you notice there, you see MLOps course, and inside the MLOps course folder, project folder, you see there's a requirements.txt file. So when you open it, you'll notice that there's more libraries than we actually installed on the terminal. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go to terminal again, new terminal. So what I want to do is I want to reactivate that virtual environment again. So watch this. So let's do that. So ls, let's go to the MLOps virtual environment. We're going to activate the virtual environment. Here we go. So now it's activated. So the thing that I also want to do is I want to test if Git was successfully installed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type git version. Okay, so it's not recognized. You know why? Because when we installed VS Code and started setting up our virtual environment, it was not aware of it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to close the VS Code and I'm going to reopen it again. Watch this. Okay, so now here we go. So go to terminal, open a new terminal. ls, go to MLOps. We're going to activate the virtual environment. Here we go. And then type git version. Okay, so there. So now the version of Git that we've installed is 2.49.0. Okay, so now if you type git, also it will give you a list of options that you can actually use with the git command, okay, to manage your code. Now here we go. So what I also want to do is I just want to type the Python version so you can see that it's installed. Okay, so Python is installed successfully. Okay, so now what have we managed to do? We've installed Python, we've installed VS Code, we've set up our MLOps virtual environment. Not only that, but we've also installed Git successfully. So what I want to do is within our project folder, right, let's let's run the git command to basically make sure that the project is tracked using git. So we're going to type git and say init. So what it will do, it will basically create a git repository for our project now. So everything that we're going to add, everything we're going to remove and edit and modify, it will be recorded by git. So I'll give an example. So the requirements.txt file, it's a file that is not tracked by git. That's why you see the color there is green. So we could type git status. You see that there's a requirement.txt file. So what we want to do is want to make sure that it's tracked by git. So when you do git add, that dot means the current directory. So we want to add, actually, you know what, let's do git add and specify the file we want to track. Requirements, hit enter there. So when you say git status again, you see now it's now being tracked by git. This file is tracked by git. So what I'm going to do is, in the next lesson, I'm going to take you through a few git commands on how to basically track your code changes, how to create new branches for your code, and so on and so forth. Okay, so see you in the next lesson. In the next lesson, we're going to be basically now getting our hands dirty and start building our MLOps pipelines. Okay.